Brandon, Lauren, district officials did not say what that threat was about, but police do confirm they have someone in custody. According to HEB ISD, over the weekend, someone wrote a, quote, unsettling post online that mentions the Hurst Hills Elementary School. It was immediately sent to the district safety team in the Hurst Police Department. Hurst PD opened an investigation. We are told they arrested someone in connection. As school gets underway today, the police department will have a larger presence in the school's surrounding areas. Meanwhile, the district will also have a school resource officer on campus today. The first bell rings just before 8. Reporting live in Hurst, I'm Paige Ellenberger for Good Day.
In a new interview with NBC's Meet the Press, President Trump said he doesn't know if he needs to uphold the U.S. Constitution when it comes to giving immigrants the right to due process.
Your Secretary of State says everyone who's here, citizens and non-citizens, deserve due process. Do you agree, Mr. President?
I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know.
Well, the Fifth Amendment says
I don't know. It might say that, but if you're talking about that, then we'd have to have 1 million or 2 million or 3 million trials. We have thousands of people.
President Trump went on to say that he was elected to get some of the worst, most dangerous people on earth out of the U.S., but he says the courts are getting in his way. President Donald Trump has announced plans to reopen the notorious island prison Alcatraz.
On Sunday, President Trump directed the Bureau of Prisons and other federal agencies to rebuild and enlarge the prison. Located off the coast of San Francisco, Alcatraz closed more than 60 years ago due to critical infrastructure issues, high maintenance costs as well. Bringing it up to modern-day standards would likely require massive investments at a time when the Bureau of Prisons has been shutting prisons down for similar infrastructure issues. Trump's order comes as he continues to clash with the courts over his immigration crackdown. And former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who represents San Francisco in Congress, pointed out that the prison has since been turned into a major tourist attraction. It is ran by the National Park Service, and she says President's proposal is not a serious one. Former Vice President Mike Pence has been honored for his courageous actions during the insurrection attempt at the Capitol, January 6th of 2021.
On Sunday, Pence was awarded the John F. Kennedy Profile and Courage Award. It recognized Pence's refusal to cooperate with President Trump's effort to disrupt the transfer of power after losing the 2020 election. During his acceptance speech, the former vice president defended his actions and the Constitution.
And I hope in some small way, my presence here tonight is a reminder that whatever differences we may have as Americans, the Constitution is the common ground on which we stand.
The award ceremony happened just hours after President Trump, after President Trump refused to commit to upholding the Constitution when it came to due process for immigrants. In an interview, said he didn't know whether he could do that. Pence joined former Presidents Barack Obama, George H.W. Bush, and Gerald Ford in accepting the award. Cardinals marked the final day of mourning for Pope Francis yesterday, with the official 9-day mourning period now over the Vatican, or as the Vatican prepares to begin the conclave to pick a new leader of the Catholic Church. 133 cardinals from 17 countries are eligible to participate in the conclave. It's set to begin Wednesday. This is the largest number of cardinals ever to take part in the tradition. All eyes will be on Vatican City starting Wednesday as the conclave gets underway.
Yeah, while cardinals prepare to cast their votes, some outside the Sistine Chapel taking bets on who will be named Pope. Fox's Stephanie Bennett has more from London.
Conclave is rooted in centuries-old tradition and covered in secrecy. Still, that's not stopping people from putting their money on the next head of the Catholic Church.
I decided to put Tagle as my captain, as my main candidate to become Pope.
In Italy, tens of thousands are participating in a fantasy football-like online game, picking a team of cardinals they think could be elected as the next Pope. And Americans can get in on the action as well. One expert says millions of dollars have already been wagered.
There are some sort of side wagers and some quirky wagers, things like, will we see a black pope elected?
Current bets also include what name the future pope will choose and how long the conclave could last. While traditional casinos and sports books in the U.S. cannot legally offer bets on the conclave, Kalshi, a regulated predictions market, allows users to trade on outcomes of real-world events.
the futures market that is Kelshi, that didn't exist in 2013, that has won some court cases in Nevada and New Jersey that is allowing it to operate in the U.S. while the courts determine whether or not it's legal. We may not be able to wager on that site in the future.
Religious critics have raised concerns about this in the past. The Roman Catholic Church had once threatened to excommunicate those who took part.
Betting on who is going to be the Pope goes back hundreds of years.
The conclave is set to begin Wednesday. A puff of white smoke will emerge from the Sistine Chapel's chimney when a new pope is chosen. In London, Stephanie Bennett, Fox News.
Let's get you to Denton now, where police say they have captured a serial arsonist. Following months of investigation, 36-year-old John Howard Orr is charged with at least 4 counts of arson, including 2 first-degree felonies. Cops say Orr's crime streak began back in December when he deliberately set multiple places on fire, including a home which killed 2 elderly victims. A daycare was also torched. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager spoke with the owner of that business. She's live tonight with that update. Hi, Peyton.
Hi, Casey. And the owners of the daycare, they were shocked to learn the suspect in their case was charged for other fires in Denton. It brought them back to that January evening when they got the notification their fire alarm at the daycare was going off.
Every time I would go, I would just stand there. I didn't quite know what to do.
Emotions resurfaced Sunday for Charlie Torrey. Surveillance video from January shows her Denton daycare going up in flames. But this week, Torrey learned police connected the suspect who set the daycare on fire to an arson spree, including a house fire that killed an elderly couple.
It was really heartbreaking to see the damage that he had really done to the community, because I knew that I was affected by him, but I didn't know that others were.
Denton police just announced 36-year-old John Howard Orr now faces 2 counts of arson causing bodily injury or death. In December, Denton firefighters responded to a house fire off Houston Place. A 103-year-old man and an 83-year-old woman later died from their injuries. After a months-long investigation, their deaths were ruled a homicide. The day before, a fast food restaurant sustained serious damage from a fire investigators say was intentionally started.
It used to be a purple room.
A month later, on January 21st, police say Orr is this man in video from Tender Loving Care Learning Academy. He uses a rock to bust the window open. Then it appears gasoline is poured on the floor and the fire ignites. Detectives say all 3 fires were started in the same way.
He had a cigarette in his hand, he was smoking, and he went around the corner, and when he came back, he didn't have it. So we walked around the corner, and the cigarette was still on the ground.
Not only did the outside cameras capture a clear shot of Orr's face, the Tories noticed he left behind a used cigarette. Detectives took it into evidence, which led to a speedy arrest back in January. Now, Orr faces 2 first-degree felonies. His bond sits at $2.1 million.
For me, it was deeper than I even thought it was.
Back in January, Torrey's daycare, Tender Loving Care, was only shut down for a few days while they fixed the damage. And Denton police told the couple that their clear surveillance video and that DNA evidence from the cigarette helped put all of the pieces together for this investigation, including adding those additional charges. Casey?
Collective sigh of relief. That man is off the streets tonight. Peyton Yeager live for us tonight. Peyton, thanks for that update. Local doctors are stressing the importance of getting a measles vaccine as the number of cases across Texas continue to tick up. And Tarrant County now joins the list of counties here in North Texas with confirmed infections. Fox 4's Peyton May joins us live in studio with what health officials are saying tonight. Hi, Peyton.
Hi, Casey. Denton, Cullen, Rockwall, and now Tarrant County is reporting measles cases. Tarrant County Public Health confirms there are 2 sick individuals, the first local measles cases the county has had this year.
I think sometimes we think about it, it's like, oh, maybe it's just a cough, it's a runny nose, but it can definitely develop into something very serious.
Measles cases across Texas are ramping up, totaling to a little more than 680 since late January. And while the vast majority are in West Texas, Dr. Diana Cervantes, an associate professor at University of North Texas Health Science Center, says Tarrant County will now be tracing exposures of 2 measles patients.
They definitely interview the person. They ask them where they have been. They ask them when their signs and symptoms started, because you're going to be most contagious the 4 days before and the 4 days after the rash onset.
The county confirms the residents with measles are an adult and a child, both living in the same household and both unvaccinated. While contagious, the 2 visited Methodist Mansfield ER. Records show they were treated from the evening of April 29th to the early morning of April 30th. And just northeast in Frisco, Collin County Healthcare Services confirms a measles exposure on the Walmart off State Highway 121 on April 29th.
You were in one of those exposure places during that time period and you start having some unusual signs and symptoms, that's definitely the time to call your doctor, go to the doctor, seek medical care.
Dr. Cervantes says it's critical for those who are at high risk of catching the measles to self-monitor.
Obviously, babies who are not immunized, people who are immunocompromised, older individuals potentially who may have health conditions. So those are really the people that you want to make sure have this awareness.
As cases continue to spread across Texas, health professionals emphasize the importance of getting vaccinated.
The measles vaccine has been around for a very long time. It is very safe. It is very effective, 97% effective with the 2 doses. It really is the best way to prevent from getting measles.
Doctors say it typically takes between 1 to 2 weeks to start showing signs and symptoms after an exposure, but it could take as long as 21 days.
Yeah, the incubation period a little confusing there, so that's why people have to be extra vigilant. Peyton May live for us tonight. Peyton, thanks for joining us.